what is going on YouTube. So I've talked at length about how Mario and Sonic have evolved through long-standing competition. Between Sonic Superstars and Mario Wonder, the movies, the headlines, I just think both Mario and Sonic in recent years have done so well to really excite both of their fan bases with new content across multiple mediums. And while we always appreciate competition, what about a crossover? Crossovers are always an interesting to look at. On the one hand, crossovers can bring together two like-minded fan bases and be a celebration of whatever the crossover is supposed to be about. Like when we first all saw the Avengers finally have that moment on screen where they stand together. Or when we saw The Simpsons and Family Guy finally cross over after years of competition on Fox's primetime Sunday slots and years of fans asking for it to happen. But it's not always sunshine and prosperity for crossovers, because there have been crossovers that just stink. I mean, take the series Smallville, right? That was a 2000s show about Clark Kent and his adventures before he became Superman, and there was a crossover with notable DC characters like Green Arrow, Aquaman. I mean, it was just yikes. But the show was a mid-2000s show, like I said, and it was a pioneer for comic book TV, so we kind of give it a pass because it was really a good show. But the crossover didn't help at all. My point is, when crossovers are done well, everyone wins. Multiple fan bases get to see something special, the ratings usually skyrocket, the sales skyrocket. I mean, it's really a win-win for everybody. But when it's done wrong, it can be really deflating and leave a bad mark on multiple good franchises and characters. I suppose, to put it simply, you're either Smash Bros, an amazing crossover of cool characters with great fighting, or you're Nickelodeon's All-Star Brawl, which, to be fair, is better now, but when it first came out, had goofy mechanics, no voice acting, and the dev team basically quit the second it came out. This crossover talk leads us to the big one, which is a proper Sonic and Mario crossover. Now, setting aside the Olympic Games, because honestly, who still plays those, Sonic and Mario haven't really had a real crossover yet. We have recently seen both franchises take some pretty similar turns. New 2D game with new art styles and gameplay mechanics, both successfully taking on and adapting to the Hollywood scene, although Sonic did it first. And of course, 3D success is a given with Mario, as everybody awaits the sequel to Super Mario Odyssey, while Sonic Frontiers continues to pump out special content for Sonic fans across the world. So if there ever was a time for a massive crossover game within Sonic and Mario, it would be now. Well, the director of Sonic Team, Mario Kishimoto, was actually asked about this on Twitter, and like he usually does, he answered. He said it would be a dream of his to make a 3D Sonic and Mario game, but he feels like Sonic has to stand shoulder to shoulder with Mario first in terms of quality of the franchise. Honestly, this answer is right. It's really interesting, but he's correct. So, breaking news, Sonic has had some pretty bad games. I mean, let's be real, Sonic has had a bunch of bad games. And Mario's had some pretty good games and some pretty games. Both franchises have had their highs and lows for sure, but right now both are on some serious waves of momentum. Or in other words, everything in Sonic Mario touch go to gold. So just how would a potential crossover happen, and when would it happen? Well, let's just start with the when first, because that's pretty easy. The Switch 2. Whenever Nintendo releases the next generation hardware, you may as well start the giant hourglass, because it would only be a matter of time before these two cross over for real. Of course, there will be some time until that happens, and I can say for sure that we will have both Super Mario Odyssey 2 and a sequel to Sonic Frontiers out by then. But afterward, I mean, it's all fair game. And that's really where it gets interesting and leads us to the how. With Sonic Superstars and Super Mario Bros. Wonder releasing side by side this October, the next 2D Sonic and Mario games won't come for a while. In fact, the time between 2D releases could be the key to the crossover. I think a lot of fans, if given the choice, would want a 3D crossover, and don't get me wrong, I'm among those fans. But I could totally see them doing this in 2D first, because it would be easier to make happen. First of all, 2D games for both franchises are fairly similar in formula. Great level designs, cool power-ups, although Mario has way more power-ups than Sonic, catchy music, and a goal to get to the end of the zone or stage. Now, of course, both achieve this formula differently. Sonic games feature more speed, while Mario games feature more paths to get to the end. But all in all, the 2D crossover could work really well, and I mean, it could be a game where you take some of the best things about Sonic games and Mario games and put them together. Maybe Eggman accidentally shatters the dimension or something and is warped to the Mushroom Kingdom, where he sees the power of the superstar and abandons his quest for the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic Team follows him to prevent any other worlds from being harmed, and boom, you have a Mario and Sonic team up. It's a flimsy plot, but let's be real, people just want the crossover. I'm not sure how much the story matters to most people. Although, to be fair, it matters a lot to me. But I mean, seriously, who doesn't want to see Eggman and Bowser team up? I mean, Bowser could be going after the Chaos Emeralds, and maybe Sonic actually has to deal with what Bowser can do. and maybe Mario has to deal with Eggman. I mean, honestly, there are fans out there that could probably do a whole fan fiction on this, and I bet some already have. But you get the gist here. Mario and Sonic in 2D could absolutely be a possibility, and like I said, it also applies to 3D as well. And to be honest, with 3D, I wouldn't mind a Super Mario Galaxy Sonic Colors Ultimate type crossover where it's in space. It's also worth noting that I have left out movies for a reason. You see, with movies, it's a little more tricky because Nintendo is very picky about how they do things, and that also applies to the way they make their movies. They had so much involvement in what happened with the Mario movie, but it was for the good because it was a very successful and good movie. So while there is obviously a possibility this could kick off in Hollywood first before it comes to the video game world, Nintendo would actually have to approve of this and probably have a lot of hands-on with it, which again, probably for the good. Nintendo makes pretty good stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like they're batting 1,000, but it's not like they had a Sonic Lost Worlds moment. I think they would probably prevent that from happening. Although again, Sonic's doing really well and the Sonic movies are both really good, so this could end up being a special crossover in Hollywood. Some people have even speculated that there could be a Smash Brothers universe soon. Nintendo obviously wants to have a next movie coming out for Mario, but it's been rumored that Legend of Zelda might be the next video game to get an adaptation. Now, personally, I'm not really for a Smash Brothers universe because I'm kind of over cinematic universes. I think they're played out, but I would go to see it. In any event, Kishimoto is correct though. Sonic definitely has some catching up to do. And while the franchise has survived what seemed like inevitable death by Sonic Lost Worlds and Forces, they still need to keep this up for a while longer. But seriously, they of course are heading in the right direction with the movies both being good, the Netflix show, the games. I mean, it's all coming up aces for Sonic. And word of advice, please don't listen to Sonic fans on their takes on the recent games of success. I mean, seriously, if you ask Sonic fans, every game sucks. Like seriously, Sonic fans don't like the franchise, I'm convinced. Except me, I do like the franchise. Even the bad games. Sonic 06 is good, I will die on that hill. But what do you guys think about a real crossover happening between the two biggest platforming mascots? Could it work, and would you want to see it on Hollywood, Netflix, video games? Let me know in the comment section down below. And thanks for tuning into another video. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.